Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. If we will have the invocation first. Mr. Peach, would you like to give the invocation, please, sir?
Oh, me?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Heavenly Father, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you. We've been very lucky the last couple of weeks. Last week we get plenty of rain on the crops and the grass. We want to make sure that you show that you support that these commissioners are going to be meeting as they make decisions that's going to affect our county. And bless all our first responders, our soldiers here in fall. In your name we pray.
Amen. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge this flag. I pledge allegiance to the United States, one state, under God, one indivisible. Okay, at this time, do we have anyone that would like to have public communication with the Commissioners Court at this time? Any public comment? Seeing no one, we have none. Okay, consent agenda, we'll do the pullouts first. I saw a couple of them on there. First one being for Highway Garage, $1,149. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Motion been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
One abstention. All right. Second one is to reimbursement to Kenneth Edwards for $31.96. Do we hear a motion to accept?
So move.
Motion been made. Do we have a second? I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And I abstain.
Okay, the pullouts do pass. Do we have anything on the consent agenda that needs to be brought out on the commissioners?
Yes, sir, I have a comment I'd like to make. I'd like to first ask, I notice there are no minutes, again, for the this court, the previous court meetings. I'm concerned that we're going to lose a lot of history here if we continue not to have the minutes, because it's hard for us to remember what happened yesterday in some cases, and last year, we may not be able to remember it either. So I'm just encouraging the clerk's office to please, if we could have the minutes, I certainly would appreciate it. I also have, I was...
Hold on, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
You'd like to address it, Prince? Yes, ma'am, you are. If you'll go up to the mic.
The last meeting, I did tell Pam I would have minutes for her put on the agenda, but when we got the agenda, there was no place on there for minutes,
Okay.
So they were not submitted. And then the same thing with this one, I submitted, and she said it had already been prepared, so I don't know.
Okay, well, can you just email those to us?
Well, we can, but I guess if they're not listed on the agenda, they cannot be approved.
Okay, so what we might be able to do is get Pam to then get the judge's secretary to put several.
Just put them on there.
I would appreciate. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Also, I was noticing here, receive reports from the following county officials and departments, take appropriate action. I noticed JP1 has a extensive report. I looked at it, several pages long, and I was studying it and reading it, and I went back and read that on this, she is required by the local government code to submit this, and I would like to enter this into the minutes for the, this is local government code, section 114.044. I'm going to read this. It's not very long. Report to Commissioners Court at regular term by officers who collect fines, judgments, or jury fees. A, each district clerk, county judge, county treasurer, sheriff, district attorney, county attorney, constable, or justice of the peace who collects or handles any money for the use of the county shall make a full report at least once a month at a regular term to the Commissioners Court on all fines imposed and collected, all judgments rendered and collected for the use of the county, and for all jury fees collected by the respective courts in favor of or for the use of the county, and at the time of the report shall present the receipts, vouchers that show the disposition of the monies, fines, or judgments. B, each report must fully state, 1, the name of the person fined and the amount of the fine, or the name of the person against whom judgment was rendered and the amount of the judgment. 2, the style, number, and date of each case in which a fine was imposed or a judgment rendered. Or 3, the amount of the jury fees collected, the style and number of the case in which each jury fee was collected, and the name of the person from whom the fee was collected. C, the court shall carefully examine the reports, receipts, and vouchers. If the court finds them to be correct, the court shall direct the county clerk to enter the information in the county financial records. If they are found to be incorrect, the court shall summon before the court the officer making the report and shall have corrections made. The reports, receipts, and vouchers shall be filed in the county clerk's office. I talked to the auditor about this afternoon, and he said, oh my, we haven't been doing that. So this is just something that we have, and I suspect maybe other counties haven't done it either, but this is just to bring to the attention of the people who collect and handle money that they're supposed to make a monthly report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, with that being said, do we have anything else on the consent agenda that we need to pull out or speak about? If not, we need to entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Make that motion.
Motion been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the rest of the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Consent agenda is passed. All right. Next item on the agenda is the presentation and action on the 125 cafeteria plan. We have a couple of gentlemen here that would like to speak on the cafeteria plan. If you will, introduce yourself. And
my name's Stephen Rainbolt. I work for National Family Care Life. Been with them for 31 years now. I just take the time to appreciate y'all for letting me show y'all what we do. Is it all right if I hand these out?
yes,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
thank you.
I was visiting Mr. Power down at San Marcos at the Treasurers meeting. We had a booth down there forever. I take care right now of 54 counties in the state of Texas. Our company is the true party administrator of Section 125 plans. At the time, right now, the county is the administrator of their own cafeteria plan. That means that y'all accept 100% of the fiduciary responsibility to the IRS, making sure everything that is under the Section 125 cafeteria plan is legal through the IRS. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, no county wants to absorb the liability for a bunch of insurance companies because they come in and they just write anything they can and put it under the cafeteria plan, and then the county's liable for it. With our company, we administer cafeteria plans free of charge. And I know you're sitting there thinking nothing's free. All we do is get a chance to show our product. There's 3 things that y'all have right now under the Section 125 plan. Your health insurance and 2 other supplemental insurances. Okay? There's a lot of things on supplemental insurance. All the stuff in the health insurance qualifies. but there's things on supplemental insurance that doesn't. And so with us administering the plan, we just get those other two companies to sign a release saying they will guarantee the products that they're offering is legal to be pre-taxed. And that takes the county out of the liability and us out of the liability for their product. Because just like a judge told me the other day, said, why would we sign off for something that that the company won't sign off for? Because it doesn't matter to them. It all comes back on the county. And with ours, if you'll notice on this sheet right here, on the right, in blue print, we accept 100% of the liability of the fiduciary responsibility of your Section 125 plan. We offer plans just like the other companies do, but we put them all in one product. All of them, the heart, cancer, accident, intensive care, is all into one policy. Then through this COVID stuff, we put for any reason, because there's a lot of reasons that you go in the hospital nowadays other than heart and cancer. And so we put that in with our policy. All of that policy is $32.75 a month, not a paycheck. And so I was visiting with your treasurer and the lady, I forget her name, that works up there with him. And some of y'all's employees are paying way, way too much money for insurance. And I know I'm cutting my own throat when I say this, but they've got to have a paycheck at the end of the month. And so a lot of the companies out there come in here, you never see the same rep, you never see, it's hard to get a hold of the company. Our company, when you call our office, it's a live voice. You never ever talk to an answer machine. And people have my card with them, and they can call me anytime, day or night. Because 9 out of 10 times stuff are not happening during the daytime. It's happening on weekends or whatever. And so all of this is free of charge to the county, just us get a chance to show our product. Is there any questions?
You mentioned combining all the plans together.
Yes, sir. We put a heart, cancer, accident, intensive care, emergency room, and we've also added this year, because of the COVID, for any reason you go in the hospital. Well, just like I wished I could remember that lady's name, but she said, we have an in-hospital in here. But the difference in ours and theirs, since ours is one policy, just say you develop cancer, the in-hospital policy that the other companies are showing is not going to do you any good on outpatient chemo, radiation, stuff like that. All of ours is one policy. So they can still collect on chemotherapy, radiation, pills, anything they do for cancer on outpatient basis.
Okay, so you actually would change the benefits on some of those plans by combining them, is that correct?
Yes, we put them all together. Now, we have them separate if people want them that way. But all the counties that I did last year, and that was 54 of them, everybody loved the overall policy. Because they'd say, well, I paid on this 5 years, but what if I have this? And you can afford to buy all of those policies separate because they're so expensive.
Because some of the plans we have are real beneficial, and they've been around for a while. So
Yes, sir.
you would change those benefits.
If they wanted to change over to our company, we could change them. But if somebody wanted to keep their policy that they have, I have no problem putting them under our Section 125 plan. We just get them to sign a form saying they'll guarantee it can be pre-taxed. We get the company. I don't know who y'all have in here, but we go to the main office. We don't get the agents to sign it because agents come and go pretty fast. But we get the home office to sign the form guaranteeing that product.
Okay.
So you cover just heart, cancer, and hospitalization?
We cover heart, cancer, accident emergency room, intensive care, and for any reason you're in the hospital. Some of the bigger companies, not like I said, I don't know who y'all have, Aflac, Colonial, Liberty National, Washington National, they have the same policies we do, but they're all separate. And so, if you was to buy a policy, and it would be that way with our company too, if you bought them all separate, a person may be paying $60, $65, $70 a month. That's the reason we put this program in all together, is $32.75. And that's not a paycheck. I know a lot of companies come in and tell counties $32.75, but then they get it out of each check. That's per month.
But you don't have eye, dental, disability?
Yes, we have a dental. We just got through at Caldwell County for showing them a good dental program. Do y'all have dental in here?
Yes.
We have a dental. What we do is go through MetLife. They're our dental. And the reason we do that, they're one of the, I think, the top-rated dental programs in the nation. And the biggest thing about it is everybody accepts it. That's the key thing right there.
Any other thing, commissioners?
I'm good.
What would be if they added a dental, would it still be 32 whatever?
No, the dental is a whole different thing than what we're talking about that's on the supplemental.
Okay, so it would not be included in that supplemental thing?
No,
It would be a whole different program?
No, sir.
Would it be more than what we're paying or less than what we're paying?
I don't know what y'all are paying.
Well, what would you charge? Or can you tell us?
We would get a census, but on the county, but we just got through presenting a $3,500 a year to Caldwell County for $35.53 a month. And that's $3,500. A lot of them have $1,000, $1,500 maximum benefits, and they say you get free cleanings, free exams, all of this. Well, just like I said to start with, nothing's free. So if you spend $100 on an exam, then that $100 comes out of that $1,500. So if you would go up in the maximum benefit, say to $3,500, then you'd have $3,400 left instead of $1,400 left. So we can put all of that in there, and it's under the Section 125. The Section 125 plan really helps the county, and I'm sure y'all are aware of this. Y'all's taxes are based on your payroll taxes. And so when you can reduce people's taxes and they're saving 22%, the county saves 11%. And so the reason I say this, the more people that can participate with products under the cafeteria plan, and the reason I said can, not will, there's no pressure whatsoever, but a lot of people would like to have benefits if they're not real expensive, like the dental, the vision, the supplemental.
Any other questions, commissioners?
Okay, so do they get a debit card, or how does that work if you're going to the dentist office or if you're going to the hospital? I mean, how is that?
They would be assigned a number and just say they went to a dentist office, say I have dental through Goliad County. Then the people can pull it up through MetLife and it shows what they have.
So if I'm in Yellowstone and something happens, break a
Yes.
tooth or whatever,
It pays anywhere.
okay. Same way with the hospital, the heart,
Yes,
the cancer,
all
all
that.
that, doesn't matter where you are.
That's right.
So this makes us more or less, for the simple way of putting it, kind of a self-employed or a self-insured by being under the Goliad County's wing or under insurance. Is that what you're saying? You don't have Blue Cross Blue Shield, you have,
No, these are just add-ons.
Yeah.
oh, this is just the ad?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are not affecting your health insurance whatsoever.
Okay.
The thing about it is, y'all have right now, I guess, dental and vision, supplemental, health insurance, all of that under the cafeteria plan. The dental, the vision, the health insurance, all of those qualify to be under there. But there's certain things that's in supplemental insurance that can't be under the cafeteria plan. And a lot of companies put them on there because it's built in their policy. And if you were, and I'm not saying any of them's doing anything wrong, don't get me wrong there, but if something come up that one policy should not be under there, it null and voids your whole cafeteria plan. That means dependent coverage on health, the dental, the vision, all the taxes that your employees have saved and the county saved, that's null and void. They got to pay that back. And so the reason we administer cafeteria plans, we can keep everything in compliance with the IRS. And how we do that, we hired a guy that worked for the IRS for 20 years. He's worked for our company 13 now. And he helped write some regulations about the cafeteria plan in Austin. And so, and I'll tell you right now, there's no gray area to him. It's all black and white because that's where he learned his stuff at the IRS. But it has kept a lot of counties. Like I say, I personally take care of 54 counties. And it's helped a lot of counties stay in compliance with the IRS because a lot of counties were doing some things, then they had to remove them off the cafeteria plan.
Okay.
Now, he brings up a good point. If you're like cancer, you know, a lot of people here go to Houston, not, you know, some of the other, I mean, there's no restrictions or no lists, doctors, hospital lists that
No,
y'all
sir.
have. Y'all leave it up to the client to
My
do what
mom
they
had
want.
cancer for 18 years. She went all over the country getting treatments. And so you do never want a policy that tells you where you've got to go.
Exactly.
Brian, you have anything to add to this?
Sir?
I just visited with him up in San Marcos when we had this deal, and I listened to what he had to say, and I think it would be a good idea to at least give our employees an option to do this if they so choose to do. And
get the county out of the liability.
yeah, and then and they assume all the responsibility of making sure everything is compliant and able to be pre-taxed.
Okay. It just says for presentation at this time, so if we can look into it further, Brian, or y'all's office can look
Yes, sir.
into it further
Right.
and see what we can save or where we're going to save or what we can add and can't add
Exactly.
to that plan.
This mainly was here to see if the court wanted to see if they wanted to do it.
I would say, commissioners, we could look into it further, have the treasurer's office look into it further and see where we can help save money or we combine the plans together,
Exactly.
as long as it doesn't change the benefits like I stated earlier.
Yeah, and it like he said too, it doesn't affect our Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage.
Medical's separate, yes.
Yeah, because like right now we do have Colonial and Aflac,
Right.
and so all this stuff would be, instead of having one separate policy, we'll have it all together. That's what I understand.
This. And another thing is, in the meantime, if you will give me some quotes on your dental, we will go to work on that dental and see if we can save you some money there and increase your benefits. Because, like I say, there's not much you can do with 1,000 or 1,500. Do you know how much the maximum is now?
I don't know. I don't have it myself, so I haven't personally been messing with it. So I'm
Who
not
do y'all
really
have
sure.
it with?
I don't know.
Who you have with?
Emeritus,
Dental.
I think.
American.
Dental,
I think it's
Emeritus. Emeritus, yes.
My wife is back there. She is a representative for Emeritus and MetLife. I can tell you right now, we have nearly changed everybody off of Emeritus onto MetLife for two reasons. The benefit is so much more, and Emeritus goes up every year.
So again, the question, you said you'd be billing $32.75 a month to the county or to the individual?
Individual.
And
Okay.
The county is not paying anything out of, it doesn't cost the county a penny.
Yeah, currently, because the individuals are paying for whatever.
It's a voluntary deal, so the county just allows me to show it to them, and if the people like it, fine. If they don't, that's fine too. Same with the dental. Does the county buy the dental? Okay, it's voluntary too. So That'd be the same way with them.
So what you're saying is 3250, whatever it is, that would be taken out of our check pre-tax. We wouldn't write you an additional check.
Right.
It would come out of it would reduce our net pay.
That's right.
Okay.
And-
Yes.
And that's where he was also saying when we reduce our tax obligation,
Correct.
or the employee does,
Yep.
then it reduces the county's
Correct.
tax obligation that we have to match for the IRS. And-
But we're already doing that, right? With the add-ons? They
I'm
take it out
sure
of.
you
Yes, they
Take it
do.
out of the pay before the,
Yes.
before the pay.
Yeah, it's all pre-taxed already.
Right.
And when is open enrollment, Brian?
We start
September. ain't it?
September in that area. We may start a little earlier this year, possibly, maybe.
Did y'all
Just so-
start October 1st?
October 1st is budget year.
Yeah, last year was a mess, but
Yeah, with COVID and all that, it was,
I would say, commissioners, if you want to have them, the treasurer's office, look into it, see what kind of, if the benefits are better or worse, whatever the case may be,
right. We can get them to run some numbers
Run some
against
number-
what we have and see,
see what it comes up,
Kinda-
see what it comes up with.
right, see what we can, see if it's if it's a savings to the employee and if it's a savings to the county. And
Yes.
if it'll be a benefit.
Yes. Any other questions, commissioners?
No.
Well, thank you very much for
Thank y'all, I appreciate your time.
coming by and presenting that to us. Okay, next item is the approve the 2021-2022 budget calendar. You have there a preliminary schedule printed out, or a proposed schedule printed out in front of you there. The only thing I might want to add, commissioners, is on June the 28th, the second meeting in June, we have that commissioner, that's a regular commissioners court meeting, we have the conference in South Padre Island that day. So we'll either have to change that meeting or do it the week before or week after, whatever the case may be.
a week after.
It looks like it's Monday, June the 28th through Friday, the 2nd, right? So it wouldn't have to be Monday, but I think the Padre Island thing goes through
It goes through the third,
Thursday night,
yeah, through
Yeah, so it'd
Thursday.
be-
Thursday evening, yeah.
Thursday evening, so it could be Friday, I guess, which would be the 2nd, if we were awake enough to make it back.
I would think we maybe change that to the next week.
That's what I was saying, we could change it to the following week if we need to. The regular meeting, if we need to have one, it's unknown at this point if we really, need to have one or not have one, but it's a regular meeting, that June 28th meeting.
Correct.
What's our holiday on, is there a 4th of July holiday on Monday?
I don't have the holiday schedule in front of me here.
I know that's Sunday, but I didn't know if there was
I think we took it off on that Monday, didn't we?
a
That
big.
following Monday, I don't remember. I had to look at,
Well, we got time to maybe,
but then that's the only thing that I can see different in that proposed schedule here, or budget calendar, rather. And anyway, on that June 28th, it's a workshop if it is needed. But again, that evening is a regular meeting anyway, so we'll either have to change the regular meeting the week after, or if not have one at all for that week or the end of the month. But that's the only difference I can see on this schedule. Commissioners?
It looks like on the second page, we're supposed to approve it on a date on Commissioners Court, so we probably then need to say something about the Monday, the June the 28th through July the 2nd. We need to probably change that if we're going to approve it tonight.
Yes, we'll need to change that.
Yeah.
That particular meeting, yes. If we so desire to change it, or, like I say, we got one more meeting before then anyway.
So you don't want to approve this tonight? You want to go ahead and make a motion to,
We can approve it contingent upon changing that meeting, or
well,
if you want to just,
why don't we just have the meeting instead of on Monday or Tuesday? Why don't we have it like on Thursday, which would be the, whatever that would be?
6th, 7th, 8th, that'd be the 8th.
So we can go ahead and approve it tonight, or do you want to wait until the county judge comes back and has input into this?
I would say so, let him have some
Okay.
input into it.
I'm happy to do that. So we're not going to approve it tonight then? We're going to table this?
We can, I mean, we can put it on next meeting if you so desire. Or, like you say, we can approve it contingent upon changing that one meeting.
Yeah, we'll have a meeting before June 15th, so we'll have a meeting on the 14th, I believe.
Yes, it'll be the June 14th.
So what would the next following Monday be? Couldn't we do it on that?
That's the 31st, which would be a holiday, I believe.
Yeah, Memorial Day is
I think it's next Monday.
next Monday, yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, on the June 26th to July the 2nd, the Friday, that Monday through Friday, he says we could have it, one of those days. What would be wrong with just moving it to the following Monday, which would be the 4th?
That's the 4th, yeah, that
No,
would be
the
a holiday
5th.
also.
That's the 5th.
That would be the 5th, which is the holiday I think we have for the
Be the
4th.
5th. It'd be July the 5th.
So you can move it to Tuesday, the 6th. That would be.
That way we know we'd all be back by then.
We should be, yes, sir. Or do you want to just go ahead and just table this until?
Could we do that? I mean, could we move it to the July the 5th?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
If we move it tonight to July the 5th, we could go ahead and get this out of the way.
There you go.
Make the motion.
Yeah, because then we would have a meeting on the 12th
Mhm.
again, the next week, which is okay, but
I make a motion, we accept this calendar, except for the date, June 28th through the July 2nd. We'll have
To win.
that workshop on Tuesday, July the 6th.
yeah, it's a regular meeting, regular Commissioners Court meeting actually is what it is. And the budget workshop was combined into that.
You don't have a,
No, he's making a motion here to have it on July the 6th.
Yes,
Change this date to July the 6th,
That's Tuesday,
Tuesday.
July the 6th.
that's the first week of the month. That can't be a regular meeting.
Yeah, that's not a regular meeting, that's just a,
This is just a workshop.
yeah, but I'm saying June 28th is a regular meeting anyway. That
Oh,
correct.
I got
June,
you.
yeah,
I-
June the 28th is a.
it's a regular
correct.
meeting,
I
yes.
got you, yeah.
So are we going to try to have it early and then leave, or are we going to, what are we going to do there?
I would say let's table it and get the judge's input, see what he thinks about it
Okay,
when he gets back, and then we can put it on the next agenda for the next meeting in June, which is going to be
All right.
June,
I'll
whatever.
make a motion, we table this.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to table this particular item until we get some input from the judges on changing that one particular date because of the South Texas Judges and County Commissioners Conference being held that week. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Hearing no nays, the motion carries. All right. Next item on the agenda is to approve the lease agreement with Pitney Bowes postal meter at the Goliad County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, how are you this afternoon?
Members of the court, good to see you. We'd actually like to withdraw that. We do not want to enter into that contract, thanks to the auditor and treasurer's office. They have one that still has a couple years on its contract they don't need. So instead of having that one sit there and not being used and us entering into a new contract, we're going to take theirs and utilize it since it still has a couple more years worth of postage on it and save us all some money.
Very good.
So we can
Thank you.
withdraw that. Thank you.
So we have a motion to take no action, right? Is that correct on this one?
So move.
Do we have
I'll
a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded to take no action on this, consider approval of a lease agreement with Pitney Bowes. The sheriff has withdrawn this particular agenda item. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Sheriff. All right, next item. Next item is approve the fuel bid award. Rusty and Leah, we have copies here in front of us, is that correct? Have y'all had a chance to look over them, commissioners?
Yes.
Yes.
Rusty, you have anything to add?
Not really, it's pretty straightforward. One question that I did have, I asked Lee to get in touch with New Distributing, and that they are still higher than Oil Patch.
That's what I was looking at. Yes, sir.
So Oil Patch is, to me, is a clear winner. And I know David has tanks,
I do too.
okay, and you do too?
So does 3.
Okay.
I'm happy.
And they
My
gave us,
suggestion would be accept Oil Patch.
Oil Patch with New Distributing as our second vendor, if that's okay, or you want to do it that way, or just have Oil Patch?
in the past, we did like okay the other one for like a second choice if they ran out of fuel or whatever,
I know that
disaster.
New Distributing will deliver to someone else's tanks.
No, they won't. They usually won't. That's why we brought up with the tanks, they won't,
Well,
they probably won't.
Well, I think All Patch doesn't want you getting them from other people. That's the whole, but if somebody ran out, so we had still somebody on the list to use, is what. The All Patch would be first choice, of course. But I think that's what we have done in the past. It's whatever you want to do, but.
Well,
If
again, the
they-
only thing I can say is I don't know that, you could call New Distributing and ask them, but like I said, I don't think they would deliver.
There's somebody
since the
else's fuel tanks.
belong to Oil Patch.
I got you.
So if we like to
But
entertain.
we haven't had an issue, have we? In-
Sir?
No, we haven't, no, but
No,
Okay,
you just never know.
okay.
no, we haven't. We didn't.
Okay.
They serviced us well through the crises that
Right.
we've had. Yes. So
Okay.
do we have a motion to accept Oil Patch?
So moved.
We have a motion to accept Oil Patch as our fuel distributor vendor. So we have a second.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept Oil Patch Petroleum as our fuel vendor for the year of 2021. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays, motion carries on the fuel bids. Okay, next up, we have the Road and Bridge Materials Bid Award. Y'all got a copy each, I think, in your packet there as well.
And the low bidder
Rusty,
on these
yes, sir.
is highlighted with a star out on the left-hand side.
They were pretty similar in last year's bids, except for a couple of them with a new vendor that came in. We had a new vendor that came in this year. Is that correct, Russ?
That is correct.
Have y'all had a chance to look over them, Commissioners?
Yes, I have.
Anyone like to entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion, you betcha.
To accept-
Accept the starred, highlighted vendor
As presented.
as presented.
Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the Road and Bridge Materials,
Well, wait a minute.
yes.
Well,
From out of Scotia?
Sir?
Which one are we passing?
well,
We're passing them as a combination, all the bids at once,
Okay.
with the starred ones being the lower bids in that particular type of material.
You got to be careful with that because they got that delivery charge on some of these per ton. And I think when you add that up to for instance, crushed
yeah.
limestone is $26.70 a ton, but they add $1 per ton delivery.
It's another
So that's
$25.
$24 a load added to that.
Yeah. So Atascosa under crushed limestone, is that the one you're looking at?
I was looking at B and G.
Well, the delivery fees are $1 per ton.
So you get a
So
24.
it would just be the
Well, that's still.
quoted price plus $1.
Yeah.
Okay.
$1 per ton, and we get a 24-ton load, that's 24 more dollars, 25 more dollars.
Or just look at it like, instead of $26.70, it'd be $27.70, because they're adding $1 more to each ton for the delivery. So it'd still be,
And most of them are charging you a delivery charge
yeah.
anyway.
I think out of Scotia did.
but Well, you look at this, state-approved road base,
But they're still
this
higher.
one of them was 2675 and then 26 per ton per mile. I mean, that, when they bid it like that, it's just hard to.
But y'all went through 'em-
To
y'all-
accept them is what I'm getting at.
Y'all went through Rusty, and the starred ones are the lower.
Well, I guess he got a different cop. I
There
thought
there
it was
may have been a couple, Alonzo, that one of the precincts was higher than.
Right, because of the distance.
Mine,
But,
yeah, mine
but
is,
the majority of them,
yeah.
the ones that are.
For
starred are the
example, in
lowest.
precinct 2, B&G Materials is right there next door. Their price for bringing me the limestone to my yard is a lot cheaper than bringing it to his yard in Goliad, because of the distance.
They're gonna look at the distance for sure.
Yes, and in my case, it would be cheaper for my precinct to get it from B&G than to get it from Atascosa, for example, say. Because of the distance, it's
Right.
it's cheaper.
Okay, so I'm gonna maybe renege on my motion then, so.
Well, you can leave it as presented,
Well-
because the starred ones, like on mine, on precinct 2, B&G is starred for me, but it's not starred for you or you or you, because your distance is further.
Well, I'm looking here at them, and you're right, the Atascosa is, on the crushed limestone 3/8 inch it would be cheaper than the rock trucking.
Yes,
And I'm looking here at the B and G, looks like it would be, Atascosa would be cheaper, would also be the cheapest one. Because Atascosa is $33 a ton, whereas the others are $26.70, but they're adding $25 more dollars. If I'm reading this right, $1 a ton more, or just $1 more?
$1 a ton.
$1 a ton. $1 per ton, so I'm gonna say that Atascosa would be the cheapest one under limestone 5/8. Not B and G, because they apparently don't have a delivery charge.
either that, Commissioner, we can approve these bids as presented with using the other choices as a secondary choice, depending on where, because like I said, precinct 2 is different, because
Right.
I could, I'd have to get mine from B&G, because that's going to be the best rate for me,
Okay.
Where's B and G?
Beeville, right
They're
there,
still charging $24 more
Say
dollars.
it again?
right in Beeville, right there down the road. It's
Is that comes out of Pettis,
yeah, no, that plant right there on the right past the county line.
and they dig it there?
I don't know where they dig it
Because
at.
that's not limestone,
I don't know if that's the place or not, but
sandstone. It's not limestone.
because each one of the starred ones is different for each precinct. Is that correct, Rusty? Am I stating that right?
Overall, which ones had the overall best price, it was just by vendor, not by precinct.
No.
'Cause like I said, some precincts can get the product elsewhere cheaper.
Yes.
So if y'all want to go by precinct, we can do that as well.
I would rather go by precinct,
Okay.
now that I've relooked at this, which means that Atascosa would be cheaper for 3/8, but it'd be more, B and G would be more for precinct 3 than Atascosa at the 5/8. So,
Yeah,
am I reading that right, Ms.
I
Light?
use 1.5 inch to dust myself. I use the bigger stuff.
Yeah. So let me change my motion. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the lowest vendor per commissioner per material. Is that okay?
Per precinct.
Per
Precinct.
That'll
precinct,
be
per
fine.
material.
That'll be fine.
I'll make that motion.
Because they're both starred anyway. The Atascosa, B&G, and the other ones in Vulcan, they're all starred for different materials.
Right, but if I'm buying the 3/8 or the 5/8 crushed limestone, I don't want to buy B and G.
Correct. I hear you.
Atascosa's not starred for me. So,
So what we would do is we'd rework the summary and give each of y'all a list of who the vendor is
for each
by
precinct?
precinct.
Okay, thank you. I'm still making that motion.
Okay.
And then you can work up that vendor list. But there's no second yet.
Okay, so repeat your motion again.
Motion is that we accept by the precinct the cheapest vendor per material.
Which would include you want to include the fuel surcharge as well in that pricing.
Correct. The
So-
fuel, the
and we'll
fuel
do that,
charge
of
or the, right. In other words,
Okay.
on,
Got a question. Sometimes some of these truckers, they're getting busy. We need the gravel and they don't have the trucks available to us. Is that part of this motion that we're bound to just buy the cheapest, or does the fact that they can't get the trucks that we need to us, does that enter into this equation? Are we just looking at the cheapest material?
That's up to y'all. I
It-
mean, we
it-
go out
Because
and
that
get the
happens
bids.
to me. I mean, and we're looking at rain maybe coming the end of the week, and you can't get, this company's full.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any more trucks.
That's why I said earlier, if you would entertain a motion to accept the bids as presented, which would allow us to use those other vendors
Yes.
if something was to, or they couldn't handle or help us.
The letter that we send out with the award shows who won what particular thing, and then it says if they're unable to fulfill, then it gives the next person in line. So if
Correct.
you tried to buy from Atascosa and they don't have it, then
Go to the next vendor.
you can go to whoever else
Okay.
is available if they can't provide.
And see, by doing it by precinct, you're eliminating that portion of that out of the equation.
Well, no, because there'd still be a first and second bid from the precinct. You'd have the person who got the bid, and if they couldn't provide the materials, then you'd have the option to go to the next one on the list.
The only thing I would say is, I don't think it's fair to any vendor to call them the day before and expect it there the next day.
Exactly.
So if y'all are going to pick a second vendor, then y'all need to establish a policy how far in advance you're going to call.
Well, usually,
Because what we're going to end up is, we're going to end up with no one bidding on our road material.
I've never done my business that way. Anyway, to expect them to come in with a second day or calling them 2 days before and wanting the material, no. I don't plan that way on my business out there.
Okay.
so what you're saying is we might want to say that if the vendor can't provide it in, say, 4 weeks, we can go to or 3 weeks. Is that what you're asking us to do, a time limit here?
I would think that would be fair.
I called one today and he says he's 3 weeks behind. I mean, he can't bring it for 3 weeks. And I don't think that's unreasonable. And they're moving lots of stuff around right now. So, and it's so wet, I can't do anything anyway, so.
Right.
But I would say, Commissioner, if you want to, again, change your motion to say, to accept the bids as presented, and then if, like you say, you can add your 3 weeks caveat in there if you'd like, but I wouldn't say it's necessary to do that, but, I mean, because they're all behind, everybody's going to be behind right now, as you say, anyway.
Well, I'm going to say no because I'm looking at crushed limestone 5/8. B&G is going to charge me $50. Atascosa is going to charge me $33.
Yeah, and see, on mine is
I'm not
26 for
talking
this.
about you, I'm just saying that, it is the preferred one, so, and if he can deliver it within 3 weeks, I'd be forced to buy it at $50 a ton versus $33 a ton from Atascosa.
Yeah, and mine on the same material you're saying there, my start is B&G Materials.
That's why I'm saying per precinct. In other words, you would then get it from B&G and I could get it from Atascosa, because it would be the lowest for me and Atascosa would be lowest for me and B&G would be lowest for you.
Well, that's fine. It doesn't make any difference, whatever you want to do.
I think that's what my motion
So
said.
your motion is to accept the bids as presented to the lowest bidder per precinct.
Per precinct, per vendor, per material. Yes.
Well, the bids would cover it didn't, I mean, if you want to say it that way, that's fine, but
Did you get all that, Mary Ellen?
precinct. Yes, correct.
per vendor material, correct.
Do we have a second to that motion, Commissioners?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to accept the bids presented to award to the particular vendor for the precinct, lowest bid for each precinct. Is that correct, Princess? Plus material. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays, the motion carries. Okay, next item on the agenda is discussion action on resolution for bridge replacement at Frankie Road and at Perdido Creek. Commissioner Bruins?
Yes, TxDOT contacted me a couple of weeks ago that they were ready for us to do the resolution. In the resolution, I think our portion of the bridge, if I read this right, is $148,000, which we come up with 10, that's our 10% of the bridge, but we come up with projects that add up to that amount, and we don't have to write TxDOT a check for that 10%. And that's improvements that we do in the precincts. So I did it with the Danforth Bridge. We put in culverts crossing different roads that were bad. So, and this is the Perdido Bridge on Frankie Road.
Okay. Any questions, Commissioners?
I have a question. So they're going to talk about have it elevated from the high point
Oh,
on the
that's-
south side going to the high point on the north side?
So that's a $1.5 million bridge.
So it's going to go from high?
Yes, they
So
are going to raise it, because with this rain, the water was, that creek was dry. I mean, dry. And this last rain, I think yesterday, they said it came up a foot under the bridge. Of course, the bridge ain't 3 foot off the ground, but people drive off of it all the time and drive out, so.
But my question is, it's going to go from high point to high point?
Well, I don't think totally to the high point, because that is pretty high on both ends,
Yeah.
but,
But it's going to
Yeah.
be not just 3 foot off the water?
right, that's correct.
Or
And it's,
million, whatever.
and it's supposed to be box culverts, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Like the Danforth Bridge.
Okay.
And, yeah, hopefully it's going to be a better bridge, a lot
Oh, it
better.
has to be better, yes.
And a 2-lane bridge, probably, not a, they haven't given me the engineering or anything on the bridge. This is all they sent me. This is it, so. So anyway, I make a motion that we accept this resolution. Okay. Okay, so if we didn't turn in any projects, we would have to write TxDOT a check for $150,000. But so TxDOT picks up 10% of the bridge, the federal government picks up 80% of the bridge. The county picks up 10%. So we go out, they allow us to go out and say, I got a culvert on Colettoville Road Bridge that's rusted or going bad. So I give them a price to what it's gonna cost to replace that culvert, the culvert, the material. We usually don't do labor, because that gets a little deeper than what we want to fill out. But, because we never know that early how long it takes to put in a culvert. So anyway, we turn that in, those projects. I give them a list of projects. So I got a culvert on Colettoville Road, I got a culvert on, say, Danforth Road, and then I got a bridge, maybe a undercut that's getting undercut. And these are all problems that usually TxDOT tells us we have anyway, like with bridge, when they do our bridge inspection. So I think Alonzo has a bridge on the San Antonio River that he can, and that's another thing. I don't have to have all these projects in my precinct. We can use the whole county. So Alonzo can turn in some projects, because I turned in a bunch already. We fixed a lot of good things, and I don't think we have a whole lot to fix right now. So, and then I think Kenneth had one on Staley Road. I think Kirby's pretty well filled up with his Staley Bridge. You have
Siler Road.
Siler Road.
Yeah, I
Siler
know
Road.
exactly what you're talking about. I got like.
You got like-
eight or nine projects that I
Right.
have to do. So
Right.
explain to me, there's already a price, when I got it, I already have a sheet that says how much each of those in-kind work is done. So what you're telling me is the previous commissioner
Yes.
told him how much each of those projects was going to be?
Yes, he did an estimated price on
Okay.
each one of those repairs. Yeah.
Gotcha. Mine's already done,
So,
as price-wise.
Your project, what is your projected out-of-pocket cost?
well, okay, so that we have 3 years after the project is completed. Okay, so we can start these projects after we turn in. So the resolution's the first thing. I'm gonna get to your answer. So the resolution is the first thing, and then we turn in our projects. And they need to add up to this $148,643. Okay, so as soon as they approve those projects, and by then they probably have done the engineering and then they're working on the bidding, then we can start on these projects. So we don't have to spend this $148,000. I know where you're getting at, budgeting our precincts. We don't have to do them in 1 year. We probably, well, it took them, 3 years to do the Danforth Bridge. So that would have gave me like 6 years to do these projects.
Okay, so TxDOT comes up with a cost,
Correct.
and then the county has to do 10% of that
Of that,
in in-kind services.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
And
no
it's a,
engineering fees or anything like that
Right.
have to be.
right, and it's really a good deal because we get to repair things that are needed to be repaired, not, just, they don't tell us, we just
And
go
I
out.
assume that these expenses that you're gonna do this budget year were budgeted in last year's budget.
I've already done all 4 of my projects for the Danforth Bridge. We did them in a,
For this one that you're talking about today.
well, there again, it took them 6 years. We had 6 years to do projects for the Danforth Bridge. So what I'm saying is right, we probably got 6 years from now to do these projects, yeah.
But I'm
And,
assuming that any costs that you are gonna have to incur will be in next year's budget or the following.
right, and using examples of Staley Road, if Kenneth comes up with a price, I would think if he wants to do that project, next year, then he needs to budget that amount in his budget, and so with Alonzo but Kirby's pretty full
Again,
up,
this is all in-kind.
yeah.
Okay, well, I have a question for you, David. So who inspects your work that you've done?
Okay, so after we finished a job, which we did 4 different culvert sites,
Okay.
we call TxDOT, and they change personnel a lot. So Marshall was the last guy, came out of Carpus, and he inspects our,
Not Mr.
complete-
Perry in Goliad,
no, this
gotta
is
call
a whole different
headquarters
group.
Corpus Christi.
Whole different group,
Okay.
yeah,
and they come out and look and okay it.
yes, sir.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to accept the resolution. Do we have a second to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the resolution to proceed with the bridge replacement on Frankie Road at Perdido Creek. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays, motion carries.
Thank you.
We have to sign that before we leave tonight, is that correct?
Of course, the county judge isn't here to sign, but
But we can sign.
the 4 of us can sign.
Yeah. Mine's kind of bent up. We might have to, I gave a copy to,
We got a copy here. I got one here.
okay. We'll find the best copy,
I got one right there, it's good.
because I just printed it off of email, so.
Okay, next item on the agenda is to review bids for blinds at Franklin Street Annex and take appropriate action. Commissioner Edwards?
Okay, so, we approved replacing all the windows in the annex, and we've got the approval this was phase 1, I guess you could call it. We've got the approval to do the other half of the project. But in the first half, when they started tearing some of these windows out, some of the blinds and sheetrock and stuff on the inside got damaged in the process. And so I talked with the judge. He indicated that this would, in the interest of transparency and just to tell you that, the bid to replace the blinds in the judge's office and the conference room and her courtroom is $2,164. He said we didn't need to really get any more bids. It was under the limit for the number of bids.
I just want to confirm that the first part of the window replacement plus the second plus these blinds is going to be less than 50,000.
Yes, easy. I think it'll be under 40 before it's over with, depending on what the next half comes.
Any other repairs that are going to need to be done besides
The
replacing the windows and these blinds?
the conference room is gonna need painting and some sheetrock work from some of the damage when they pulled them over. More windows was just, man, they were melted in there. So they had trouble getting them old windows out. So some of the sheetrock was damaged, not a lot, but there's places where there's chunks, half of a hand missing that we've got to go back in there and plaster up. And then the room needs painting. And I don't know what's gonna happen in the second half, probably some of the same, little stuff.
Okay, so that's my question. The blind, the $2,000 plus bid is just for the conference room, JP1 office, not for all the other blinds and all the other windows that'll be needed to be replaced?
No, that's just for these two.
Okay, just for those two offices.
And hopefully, we can not have that happen, but these two rooms, the way her room was set up with that wraparound window, and the blinds were kind of just in the way when we started trying to get all that down, and taking them off, they got damaged. And they were just well worn, and same way in the conference room, because that gets a lot of traffic. So,
Because I think there's an invoice, excuse me, in today's accounts payable where we're paying, or y'all approved a payment to repair like window facings.
yes,
That's in addition, that's not in phase 1 or phase 2 or these here. My concern is, how many other vendors are we going to use in this project, and what are those costs going to be? Because I want to make sure,
well,
again, we're not going to exceed that $50,000 limit.
I don't think we'll get there, but we did have some damage to the ceiling in her office that we had to have repaired. And that's that drop-down ceiling, that suspended ceiling with that,
Well, is the contractor responsible for those repairs?
yes. And we've went ahead and done that. I talked it all over with the judge, and it was all under the amount that it wasn't, I think it was $900-something to fix the drop-down ceiling.
And that'll be deducted from what we pay Mitchell Glass?
Yes.
Okay, because their invoice, at least the first invoice we've gotten, doesn't reflect any kind of deduction.
That's right. We didn't realize that when we did the bid with Mitchell, that was just to take them out and put them in. But, to get them out, they did do some damage. So we've got to fix it. And I would hope we don't have any more damage to the rest of the other half when we put them out, but I wouldn't say we won't,
Okay, but
because,
will Mitchell Glass be responsible for those as well? Because they damaged her ceiling, you said, right?
Sir?
Mitchell Glass damaged Judge Moore's ceiling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's attached to where they're taking the windows out. The way that drop ceiling works is it all suspends from the ceiling above except against the wall. And against the wall, that last piece of angle iron is attached to the wall.
Okay.
And it got damaged when they started pulling out the window.
I just want to confirm that we were going to make that deduction for those repairs.
And, we'll have to watch and make sure we don't go over 50 without, I guess, coming back to court for it, but I don't suspect it to be that bad.
What he's saying is Mitchell Glass going to pay for the damage. That's what he's asking.
I have not asked them that. I don't think they were planning on it, but we can find out.
My only statement would be, if they did the damages, why wouldn't they be responsible for the repairs? I mean, it's just a question I've got.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess somebody can look at it. I mean, if there wasn't no other way to get the wind out, then, I mean, that's something I guess somebody's got to look at or question.
Yeah, I kind of think,
The way he's talking, the way it was set in there,
it's just
there was
hard.
no other way to
I don't think you can really get them out without doing some damage, just because of the way they're in there. They was having to saw them out, and it was just a tough project to get it done. I think as they went along, they got a little better when they started financing their techniques, but
Okay, no, and I understand that. But again, I want to point out to everybody here that, we haven't always followed the bidding laws in the past like we should. And again, if this project is going to exceed 50,000, it should be bid.
But
I mean,
But
that's
the
all I can say.
the blinds are being done by somebody different, right?
yes.
This is the project, though.
Oh,
But I don't see the project going over that.
Well, Commissioner, if you just keep an eye on it and see what it is so far and see where we're at on the range, I'm sure the auditor's office has
Right.
a total cost up to this point on it, on the project. So,
Tell you what we've received, but we're getting these surprise invoices in we're unaware of. But I'm not going to sit here and say, can I exceed the 50,000? That's my question.
so you're saying, Commissioner Edwards, that we're not going to exceed
No, I don't-
that range,
I don't think. we
even
can
with
exceed
the
it.
added repairs?
Correct.
Okay. So this here says to review the bids. It didn't say to take any action, or what's the,
Well, I'd like to go ahead and get this passed so we can get these blinds put up and move on. Because it's going to be under the amount as far as the 50,000. We're not even near that.
okay. So you're making a motion to accept the bids as presented?
Yes.
Do we have a second on that motion? Commissioners?
Okay, I have a question. Do we have a second? I'll make the second, but I have a question. So have you got bids? I'm confused here. Do you have bids for the blinds at Franklin Street Annex in those two rooms?
I went to the judge and asked him. He said I didn't need to get bids, that this was enough to do. Because it's under 5,000, and he was telling me, well, it's not, our minimum is 50,000. So if you add everything in the project together, we're still we're not even at 40,000 yet.
Okay, but my question, it says here review bids
I didn't
for
write it.
blinds
That
at
was-
Franklin. I just need clarification here. You did not get bids. You got one guy?
I know.
You talked to one person?
We're accepting it from one person.
And is it
What?
Mitchell Glass?
Yes. No, this is from Budget Blinds. It's who's putting the blinds up.
In those two rooms, the judges and the conference room?
Yes.
Okay, that cleared up, helped me at least understand what you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept the bid as presented to replace the blinds in those two rooms. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Hearing no nays, motion carries. Okay, next item on the agenda is Goliad County Rural Transit Subcontractor Agreement with Access Care for medical transportation. Mary?
This is our contract with the medical transportation with access to care for medical transportation for the upcoming year.
Okay. No changes in it, Mary?
No.
Have any questions, Commissioners? So it's usually the same agreement then, Mary, as previous years, other than,
It's pretty much the same. It's a new company. Access to Care is doing it now instead of MTM. They're just changing.
Okay. And you did show this to the county attorney looked at it for approval or not
He
approval?
does have it, and it's pending his approval because he's out of town.
Okay. So with that, we can accept it as presented with the contingent upon approval of the county attorney signing off on it. Recommend this agreement, or do y'all want to wait?
So move. I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion's been made to accept the contract as presented, contingent upon the county attorney recommends this particular,
He approves the contract.
approves the contract. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And I have a question now.
Yes.
So, how much is all this? Is this a grant, or is this, where's?
No, this is just a contract with them, and they do it it's a per trip. It's Medicaid.
Okay,
We don't expend any county funds on it.
No.
okay. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear.
Federal government pays for it.
Well, yeah. Okay. You answered my question. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept the contract as presented, contingent upon the county attorney approves the contract. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Any nays? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda. Discussion action to approve the summer,
Oh,
man, that writing's too little, workshop agreement for 2021.
Okay, basically, this is a summer work program put on through the Workforce Center. It's a 5-week summer program. They're like high school age. They work for 30 hours a week. The government pays for all their fees. They get $9 an hour, and basically it's a learning tool for these kids to come in and learn how to work in an office setting. That's how I got started with the summer help program, so I would ask that y'all approve it. So all we do is provide a workplace for them, and then provide, keep up with their timesheets and kind of groom them into, the work ethics, and everything else is taken care of by the workforce.
As you see there in your packet, it's approved by recommended by the county attorney on this particular
Yes, sir.
contract. Have any questions, commissioners? Have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Motion been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion seconded.
okay, I have a question now. Okay, so is there a limited number of hours?
30.
30 a week, 30 hours a week, which is what part-time, which is what our county policy is 29.5 or 30 hours, whatever it is. So we will not have to cover them with health insurance or,
We don't cover insurance, we don't cover the pay. That's all done through the government.
okay, and I'm asking, I want to make sure,
Yeah, no, they're not involved.
I know, but it's 30 hours. I just want to make sure they won't be covered under our insurance then. Beg your pardon? Okay, so if they're under 30, what happens if they're 30?
They're part-time, but it's not through the county, it's through the workforce.
And I understand that, but I just want to make sure that the insurance doesn't kick in one way or the other. So, can part-timers work more than 30 hours?
As long as the average for the year is less than 30. They're only gonna be here 5 weeks.
Okay,
It's only it's not a county thing.
right, I understand, but I just want to make sure that, because I've been told that if they work 30 hours a week, that they're automatically then covered, but that's not what you're saying then.
Those,
They don't get paid by the county.
Correct, I understand, but if I have a part-timer,
We're not responsible for any benefits either.
well, I understand, but I have a part-timer, and I need to clear that up later. Okay, thank you. That was my question, thank you.
But you have a part-timer that works.
Correct, I understand that. That's the difference. Okay.
okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept this contract. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, consider approval of purchase of vehicle for the sheriff's office. Sheriff?
Members of the court, how y'all doing?
Doing fine, sir.
Appreciate you taking a look at this evening. Y'all have all received the documentation that I sent over with regards to this request. And if you drive up and down the road in Goliad, you'll kind of see what state I have for a fleet. We're currently running with no spare vehicles at this point in time because we have too many vehicles down. Some of those vehicles are too far gone to repair or have too many miles on them for the expense. So what I am requesting is to be allowed $20,000 towards the purchase of a vehicle. The vehicle price is $38,957, $18,957 of which we will take out of abandoned vehicle fund and an additional approximately $6,000 to outfit that vehicle.
Okay. Have any questions, commissioners?
Nope.
Okay. So commissioners, where are we gonna get these funds to get this, give him the monies to purchase this vehicle? This is purchase one vehicle, Sheriff, is that correct?
Yes, sir. One vehicle.
Okay.
Sheriff, are you going to trade these vehicles in that, like the one you're talking about here that had 182,000 miles? Are you gonna-
I'm not going to trade them in, but what we will do is, because by law, we have to strip those vehicles of every piece of police equipment. Radios, striping, everything, we'll do that. And in the next abandoned vehicle auction that we have, those vehicles will be auctioned off.
And that money will go back to replenish your
Abandoned vehicle fund is where those funds go. Yes, sir.
We have monies in the contingent uncommitted fund, is that correct, Rusty?
Do you have any funds in your budget to cover this, or?
He just said he's just using some of his funds already.
Yeah, using, out of that, we're spending $18,957 out
Okay,
of
that's the
our.
one out of your fund, okay.
Yes,
He's-
sir. And plus the $6,000 or so it'll take to outfit it. Yes, sir.
He's spending 25 out of his
Right. okay.
budget or so.
I got it now.
So,
Well,
Yes,
I
sir.
do have a question. We
Go ahead.
probably need to make
Go
a
ahead,
motion
Commissioner.
and second, and then I can ask a question.
go ahead.
We
We haven't made a motion yet.
No, we haven't made a motion or seconded yet, so we should do that first.
You
But
can ask
I
your
do have a
question.
question for him.
Okay. Do we have like I said, my recommendation would be to get it out of contingent uncommitted funds, which we have the adequate funds in that line item to cover that $20,000. So if you want to, one of you commissioners want to entertain a motion to.
I'll make that
Yeah.
motion.
Motion been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Your
Now I have
question?
a question. Okay, so, do you have other, I think Mr. Bruns was asking, do you have money in your other regular tax fund, 154?
Yeah, we have in there a little bit of funding left. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 in our vehicle line item budget.
So is that where the 6,000 is going to come from, or is that going to come out of?
I was going to spend that, no, sir, that was going to come out of the abandoned vehicle fund.
Okay.
Because as y'all have seen in the memo, we're not going to have enough money in the maintenance and repair to keep us going. So I was going to hold that tax money over to try to go towards, because I'm sure we're going to have to replace some tires, do some oil changes, and we're going to save that money for those expenses.
Well, I can certainly vouch for the fact that the vehicle funds have been cut significantly in the sheriff's vehicle line. So we do have $20,000 in uncommitted that we can, there's a big enough emergency here, we can move that over. Okay.
What-
I do think there's an emergency. He's got cars with almost 200,000 miles, and if you're chasing at high speed and a wheel comes off and there's an accident, I can almost guarantee you, our insurance will not pay for anything.
And we have 2 patrol vehicles in excess of 220,000 miles on them.
And if those vehicles are in a pursuit or anything, and there's an accident and they crash another car, I'm almost sure that our insurance company will not
And-
cover it.
Any of you know me, on the personal side, I'll drive something till the wheels fall off, but I kind of have a hard time with pursuit vehicles with that kind of mileage.
Exactly. It's dangerous to have pursuit vehicles more than 100,000 miles, period. And you have many.
Yes, sir.
Motion been made and seconded.
When do you think your next auction is?
It'll be this summer, probably sometime here within the next, I'd say 2 to 3 months. Because what we do is we will work with Refugio County Sheriff's Office to hold a joint auction, or at least on the same weekend, so that we maximize our bidder possibility for those events.
Because, yeah, I think Lonzo had a couple put in there, I have one, and I'll just donate that to the sheriff department, because we got a free truck out of the deal from San Antonio River.
I'll let y'all know in advance, that way we can make arrangements.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to give the sheriff's department the $20,000 monies out of the contingent uncommitted fund to help him purchase a patrol vehicle. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, motion carries, Sheriff.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You might as well stay right there.
Are we going into executive for the next one?
Well, that's the next question here. The agenda item is consider approval of inmate phone contract with Correct Solutions LLC and termination of the inmate phones contract with Insertel. Does there an executive session need to be does this need to be going into executive session?
In my personal opinion, yes, but I'm not the lawyer, and it's your purview, however you wish to do it.
Is the current contract still in effect?
Yes, sir, it is.
When does that current contract end?
2022.
I'm assuming there are parts of there you can get, certain items will allow you to void that contract before 2022.
Well,
Yes, and I've had discussions with the lawyers, and I figured that's probably why y'all might want to take this into executive session for some of those discussions with regards to legal aspects of contract.
okay, Commissioners.
Do we want to do this tonight without the judge, or do you want to wait till the judge is here?
I don't need the judge, that's up to y'all, but I'd like to get this done as quickly as I can.
I'm just asking.
Do what now?
If you wish to discuss it in court, I'm fine with that.
It says it on
Deal.
the thing, but we can reserve to go into executive session at any point. Is that correct? Isn't that correct, Commissioner?
I was told we weren't. I thought we were, but then I was told later that I asked those questions up at College Station, and but it's on here, right? That
It's not on the agenda.
approval.
But my question is that we can reserve the right to go into executive session at any point in this meeting. Is that correct? As far as I understand it?
I think it has to do with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, and I'm not sure if this would fall under that or not. So,
Is this of urgency that we do this tonight?
It's not an emergency, and we can discuss it in court if you want. I have handouts for you. Like I said, that's a decision of the court, not my decision, so I'm open if you want to discuss it right here.
Well, let's do it if you want to take care of it.
can I ask you what attorneys you've discussed this with that say this should be an executive session?
I haven't been advised that it should be, but I was told that it was going to be an executive session. I was told earlier today it was, so I assumed it would be because it's contractual, and traditionally in my career, when we've dealt with contracts, we've gone into executive session. But like I said, that's in the purview of the court. That's not under my jurisdictional authority.
Well, I'm not an attorney, as you well know, either, so
I do believe you have the right, we do have the right to go into executive session if we're going to talk about contracts. I think that's one of the exceptions, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was my statement, that we can go into executive session at any point in any commissioners court session.
If it talks about certain things, and this is talking about a contract, voiding one contract and getting a new
Yeah,
contract.
it goes,
I think-
that covers
I think
personnel matters and stuff like
falls
that.
into the purview of an executive session, but we would have to decide that, I think.
Yes, we
Because
can.
It's not on the agenda.
So what's the preview of the commissioners court at this point?
If the sheriff wants to go to thinks it ought to be an executive session, I would think I'd make that motion that we need to be in executive session, so we can talk contracts without, and then we'll come back and either make the motion to accept it or not accept it. I think it's not a bad idea to be in executive session. So I'll make that motion to be in executive session to talk about the inmate phone contract with In-Cartel and I'm not sure who the new one is, Correct Solutions LLC. I'll make that motion.
Okay, I don't think is it anybody, the other commissioners, y'all want to go into executive session with it or not?
That's fine. I'm good. Let's go.
Okay, so we'll entertain to go into executive session. What time is it at this point? It is
7:26.
7:24 PM. We will go into executive session. Under agenda item, consider approval of inmate phone contract with Correct Solutions LLC and terminate of inmate plans contract with Insertel. So we're going to go over there. Is that open?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not hearing what you're saying.
I was just going over, Princess, why we're going into executive session. We're going to go over yonder for executive session
Oh, are we?
in the jury room.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to vote on it.
That way we have to move, they don't?
I don't think so.
Ready? Okay, we're going to reconvene in regular session of this Commissioners Court session. Item on the agenda to discuss is consider approval of inmate phone contract with Correct Solutions LLC and termination of the inmate phone contract with Insertel. Okay,
I'll make that
Commissioners,
motion, sir.
you'll make the motion to terminate the
I'll make
current
the
contract
motion.
with Insertel and consider approval of the new contract with
Correct Solutions LLC.
Correct Solutions.
Yeah, terminate In-Cartel and go with Correct Solutions LLC. I'll
Do
make
we have a
that
second to that motion?
I'll second.
Had motion and second to accept, to terminate the contract with Insertel and approve the contract with Correct Solutions. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays?
No.
Hearing none, motion carries. You're quite welcome, Sheriff.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
No.
Un momento.
Oh. I'm ready for dinner.
One more thing.
Un momento.
Oh, is there another one?
Do we have any public announcements at this point, Commissioners? Any announcements? If you will come up to the mic, Ms. Brumby.
The sheriff is going to be holding a public meeting Thursday evening at the Julie Wimberly Building, starting at 6 o'clock, which happens to be sponsored by the Republican Women. But the community is invited to come out and hear the updates. You're welcome, Sheriff.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Okay, Commissioner Brumby, you may.
I make a motion and we adjourn.
Motion been made to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Hallelujah.
I'll
Have a
second.
second. Have a motion and second to adjourn this session of the Commissioners Court meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.